Coming up on OU Nightly, Turning Point USA is on its way to campus. Hear what the OU chapter had to say about the arrival. And people in Oklahoma, Noble, and Cleveland counties are heading to the polls. Hear what's on the ballot before the polls close. And why President Trump says the U.S. blew up another boat in the Caribbean Sea. This is OU Nightly.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Julia Roberts.
And I'm Carla McCreary. This Thursday, Turning Point USA is hosting a speakers event on campus featuring Governor Kevin Stitt.
The event is part of the group's Turning Point tour. We spoke with OU's TPUSA chapter on why this event on campus is so important.
OU Nightly's Nikki Womack is live at the Lloyd Noble Center. Nikki, how is the group preparing?
Julia, Carlin, the event comes in wake of the assassination of conservative activist and co-founder of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk, who was shot and killed while speaking to students at Utah Valley University. Gary Barksdale, faculty advisor of OU Turning Point's chapter, told OU Nightly that Kirk was supposed to come to campus this semester. Student volunteer Aaron Newman says today, on Kirk's birthday, why it's so important for the event to continue.
His voice was making a difference. I think it's important that we, as Americans, try and foster open dialogue and civil conversation. I mean, just the other day we had people stealing the signs all around campus. Like, that's not the right way to go about it, in my opinion. The best way to go about it is to go up to people and have conversations that we disagree on. And I hope that more people foster the idea that, you know, violence should not and isn't an option, in my opinion.
The Turning Point tour will take place right behind me at the Lloyd Noble Center on Thursday, beginning at 6:30 p.m. Reporting live, I'm Nikki Womack, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Nikki. We will have team coverage to follow this story as the event unfolds later this week.
Minutes ago, President Trump honoring Turning Point founder Charlie Kirk posthumously with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. His widow, Erica Kirk, accepting on his behalf. It's the country's highest civilian honor and comes on what would have been Kirk's 32nd birthday. Trump has called Kirk a great American hero and martyr for freedom. Kirk was assassinated during an event on a college campus in Utah last month.
Kirk is also being honored here in Oklahoma as well. Today, Governor Kevin Stitt announced a new proclamation making October 14th Charlie Kirk Day in the state. Governor Stitt says today is the day where we honor a man whose faith, leadership, and courage continues to inspire our state and nation.
Today, thousands are able to vote on a $2.7 billion bond in Oklahoma City. This will be the largest bond vote in the city's history. The bond has 11 propositions funding 547 projects. Some of those projects include rebuilding streets, economic and community development, and the Civic Center complex in downtown OKC. The bond's website says it will not raise property tax rates. OKC residents who currently reside in the extension of Upper Cleveland County will be able to vote on those propositions.
And other things on the Cleveland County ballot today include the Noble OG&E franchise tax and the Little Axe public school bonds. The Little Axe $58 million bonds would support a new high school and new school buses for the district. Garris Dennis, Assistant Secretary of the Election Board, tells OU Nightly they've received 250 absentee ballots. It's not too late to vote. Polls close at 7 p.m. There are also 41 polling locations in OKC, Norman, and Noble. If you want to find your polling location, you can find out at the Oklahoma State Elections Board's website.
We may have had a slight glimpse of fall yesterday, but the warmer temperatures are back across campus today.
OU Nightly meteorologist Isaac Walters joins us live in studio. Isaac, when can we expect it to finally feel like fall outside?
Yes, that's right. We definitely saw a little more of a fall theme yesterday. I woke up yesterday and I saw rain on my window. That might sound kind of foreign to everyone with how warm it's been and how dry it's been. But look at this. We got nearly an inch of rain up there near Enid. Here in Norman, we kind of saw less than a tenth, so not a whole lot of accumulation in terms of rain. but we did definitely see enough to keep the day kind of dreary and a little bit cooler outside too. But look at the temperatures for today. We're back to those 80s and that warmth that we've been seeing the last several weeks, and that's really been what we've been seeing for the last several days. Back to you guys.
Following the Israel-Hamas ceasefire, Israel military threatened to have the number of trucks bringing humanitarian aid to Gaza after concern that the militant group was returning the remains of hostages too slowly. OU Nightly's Michael Thompson has that and the rest of today's international and national headlines from the News Center.
Well, this was just the first test for the fragile ceasefire in Gaza. Homeland Security forces are on the street as the militant group says it is an attempt to restore law and order in areas where Israeli troops have withdrawn. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the war will not end until Hamas has been dismantled.
We have told them we want to disarm, and they will disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently. But they will disarm. Do you understand me?
Hamas has not yet fully accepted the terms, saying more negotiations are needed. In the waters off Venezuela, the United States strikes another small boat accused of carrying drugs. 6 people were on board. The 6 people on board were killed, and no U.S. forces were harmed. President Trump says this is the 5th deadly strike in the Caribbean during his administration, as he says drug traffickers must be met with military force. Many major airports across the country are refusing to play a public service announcement from the Secretary of Homeland Security. This stems from a political message that Kristi Noem shares stating her claim on who is to blame for the government shutdown.
Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government, and because of this, many of our operations are impacted, and most of our TSA employees are working without pay.
It's day 14 of the shutdown, and Democrats say any deal to reopen the government must address their health care demands. Julia, Carlin.
Thank you, Michael. We are in the second week of the government shutdown, and the stakes are rising. Find out how the impacts are affecting federal workers.
And a new press policy is causing commotion for the media. How major news networks are taking a stand when we return.
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time.
And she'd buy the same gifts over and over.
Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together.
It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We said we'd never give in to a meltdown.
Mariella!
Never leave the house looking, well, and never let them out of our sight. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Back. It is now day 14 of the government shutdown, and there's no indication any progress has been made ending the deadlock between Democrats and Republicans. Michael Yohada reports on the impacts the shutdown is continuing to cause.
Hi, I'm Kristi Noem.
Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem appearing in a Transportation Security Administration video intended to be played at airport security lines.
Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government, and because of this, many of our operations are impacted, and most of our TSA employees are working without pay.
Multiple U.S. airports now refusing to play the video, citing the political nature of the message. With the shutdown in its second week, the blame game on full display. Fear of not getting a paycheck forcing some military families to seek assistance at a Texas food pantry.
We're only 2 and we're struggling, so I can't imagine what families with more people are struggling with.
Over the weekend, President Donald Trump posted the administration had, quote, identified funds to pay troops if the shutdown continued. Tuesday, DHS said the Coast Guard would also get paid, saying the money would come from the tax and spending cuts bill passed by Congress over the summer. Democrats, meanwhile, holding firm, pushing for an extension of the Affordable Care Act subsidies to keep health care costs from skyrocketing.
Of course I want our military paid. Of course I want federal law enforcement officers to be paid. There's a way to do that. I'm an appropriator. We should have passed appropriations bills. There's a way to run a government, and this is not the way to run a government.
Last week, thousands of federal workers across 7 agencies received layoff notices. Tuesday, the White House Budget Office said it was prepared to ride out the shutdown with more layoffs. Each day, the stakes rising, with no indication any progress is being made between Democrats and Republicans. In Washington, Michael Yoshida.
The White House Office of Management and Budget says it's preparing to batten down the hatches with more reductions to the workforce to come.
The 5 p.m. deadline is coming up for the Pentagon's new press policy. Earlier, NBC sent out a joint statement with 5 other major broadcast networks that are refusing to sign this policy before the afternoon deadline. These networks include NBC News, ABC News, CBS News, CNN, and Fox News Media. The new policy is saying that reporters could have their press passes revoked if they do not get their information approved by the Pentagon before publishing. This includes information that is considered unclassified as well. After the deadline, any media professional who refuses to sign the policy will have 24 hours to turn in their Pentagon press credential and clear out their belongings inside the government complex.
Were you looking for something to do with the family tonight?
Where police in the local community are coming together for a night of fun and learning when OU Nightly returns.
And when we come back, I'm going to let you know when we can expect to see some more rain after getting a little bit yesterday into this weekend.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
And thanks for joining us here on OU Nightly on this Tuesday. It's a beautiful day on campus, a little warm, but a very clear skies here as you see overlooking Jenkins and 9 here. Plenty of traffic moving through here at this around 4:30. We're seeing temperatures in those mid 80s today, so a little warm for some people. I think it's very nice. Personally myself, I'm a fan of those warm temperatures. I'm not really ready for that winter to come around just yet. But looking here across the state, we've been seeing a very similar theme of 80s here in the metro. Then as we zoom out, we'll see across the state it's really been very similar, except up here in Guymon, we have the low there in those upper 60s. So on that panhandle, we see things much cooler. And then down here towards McAllister, we see nearly 90. So much warmer there and much cooler up to that northwest. And that's been a very similar theme that we've been seeing the last several days. We're going to see a little bit of a pattern shift here, though, over the next several days and also the next several weeks as we see a cool front move across the nation here coming from the west and move across. We're going to see moisture come up from that Gulf, and that's going to pave the way for some rain into this weekend. As you see, bam, right there, there it is, waking up here in Norman on Saturday morning. We could see plenty of rain here into the area, and that's also going to pave the way. Look at that there for a severe weather risk east of us here in Norman, over Arkansas, all the way up to the Ohio Valley and down to northeast Texas. So there's a severe weather threat for that. This is still several days out, so I want to stress to you that this is not set in stone by any means, but we'll be looking into that. So make sure you watch OU Nightly all week so you get updates as this changes here from that Storm Prediction Center. And really, that's going to be a very similar theme. What we've been seeing, though, with that warmth, 80s. We've seen a lot of 80s here and into the next several days. Even after we get that cool front move through, it's by no means a cold front. We're going to see a cool front. We're really going to drop it down maybe to those upper 70s, but we're kind of expecting to come right back up to those 80s after we see that rain this weekend. And that's also what the Climate Prediction Center is seeing here. We'll see a below average out to the west, but then down here and in Norman, we're seeing above average. So that's also kind of paving the way too for those allergies here today. We see allergies, the weed allergies are high, mold is medium. So really not a whole lot going on. We see, might have a little bit of sniffles here and there, but next 7 days, guys, a lot of 80s. And then again, the biggest thing we're watching right now is that rain chance into the weekend. We also could see a scattered thunderstorm here and there. I'm not expecting that to be too serious for us here in Norman, but again, out to the east, we might see a little more of that. But I don't know about you guys. I love rainy days, especially when we've had so few of them here lately. What is your favorite thing to do on a rainy day?
So I have a screened-in patio, so I just like to go out there, take my dog, and just watch maybe some YouTube and just enjoy the rain because we don't hardly get it.
I love it. I'm kind of similar. I like doing, watching TV or just relaxing. If I was with my dogs, I'd probably hang out with them also.
Yes.
That's great.
All right, so thank you, Isaac.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
If you're looking for a family-friendly event this evening, Norman's National Night Out is tonight from 6 to 9 at Sooner Mall, hosted by the Norman Police Department. The event allows local first responders and the Norman community to build relationships. Attractions include food, trucks, and friendly activities and crime prevention tips.
Most everything today is free for the community, so it's really just about coming out and spending that time together and getting to interact with the first responders that are working in their neighborhoods every day.
For more details on National Night Out or other upcoming Norman events, you can visit the City of Norman website.
Well, the Norman Police Department is starting their annual firearms training at their facility in South Norman today. They are warning that residents who live in the area may hear sounds of gunfire. Norman police say trainings will take place during early morning hours and into the night. The department says these trainings are to ensure officers remain well prepared and ready to serve the community.
Being October, Norman Animal Welfare is hosting a Paws and Pumpkin event this Thursday, October 16th, between 4 to 2 p.m. The event will have free pumpkin painting, a bounce house, a dunking tank, food trucks, and more. Along with the activities, all pet fees will be waived this day, and there will be free microchipping and free tags between 4 to 5 p.m. Norman Animal Welfare is open to donations of pet supplies like toys and foods for the animals during the event. Landon's here to preview sports. One OU team hasn't even hit the court yet, and they're already making headlines.
Plus, John Mateer threw 3 picks against Texas. Hear from the Sooner quarterback on how he plans to bounce back.
That's right, Carl. And OU is in the midst of their second season in the SEC, yet OU is still being talked about by the Big 12. Find out what the conference is saying about the head coach coming up next in sports.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
All right, look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable. Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/actnow.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
I'm Landon Thomas, and it's time for sports. Following Saturday's loss to Texas and only SEC games left on the schedule, OU head football coach Brent Venables told the media today that the level of competition in the SEC is much different than their old conference.
And this isn't, the old Big 12 days where Oklahoma destroys everybody, every single week, except for one game a year. And, I'm not saying that in any other way other than, man, every week, man, there's big, long, fast, explosive dudes, great staffs, really good quarterback play, tremendous lines of scrimmage, things of that nature.
And the Big 12 didn't take that comment lightly, as they went to social media and called out Brent, tweeting that he lost 8 conference games in his 2 seasons in the Big 12. Something tells me that the Big 12 isn't a big fan of Coach V. After a 17-day absence from thumb surgery, OU quarterback John Mateer didn't have his best game in his return against Texas, as he threw 3 interceptions. With only SEC games left on the schedule, Mateer knows it's important to get every rep possible.
Practice is super important, and I don't think that was the reason, everything happened, but it's super important for any player, from professional to youth. Like, you need to practice, and it'll be good getting into a rhythm and working my body, being ready to go. If your confidence is fragile in this league, then and in this game, you don't have a chance. You gotta step up and find a way, and I will.
OU wide receiver Deion Burks and 19 others have been named semifinalists for the Jason Witten Award. The award is for both on and off the field work, as Burks has helped raise over $30,000 to Rob's Ranch, a local nonprofit that helps with drug and alcohol addiction. Former Sooner Caleb Williams put on a show last night in Monday Night Football against the Commanders. Here he is scoring the first touchdown of the game himself to up the Bears' lead, and would throw another touchdown later on in the game. And here's a game-winning field goal that helped the Bears win 25-24. With OU women's basketball right around the corner, Jenny Baranchek and her girls are ranked as the 6th best team in the country according to the AP poll. This is the highest ranking that the Sooners have had at the start of the season since 2009. OU's first game is against Belmont at home on November 3rd at 6:30 p.m. And back-to-back like she never left is OU soccer's Caroline Duffy. The senior earned her 2nd straight SEC Defensive Player of the Week after holding number 4 Tennessee scoreless, and Duffy looks to keep that play up against Auburn on Thursday. Carlin, Julia.
Thank you, Landon. Trying to get some spooktacular shopping in? Chances are you won't be alone.
We have why spending for Halloween could sound extra scary this season.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater. Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater. Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
I'm McKinley Potter at the OU Nightly Update Desk following a school threat in central Oklahoma. We just heard from the Chief of Police in Tecumseh after their school district cancels classes for 2 days. Chief Kidney says a high school student is in custody after posting a photo in the school's restroom holding a BB gun. The chief says the student is speaking with the Pottawatomie County Sheriff. Authorities are still determining if more security is needed when students return from fall break on Monday. Julia, Carlin?
Thanks, McKinley. We know you'll continue to keep us updated. Well, from candy, costumes to decorations, this Halloween is set to be a record-breaking scare for American consumers. The National Federation's annual consumer survey is projecting that Americans will spend a record high of $13.1 billion in total this year.
And do you plan on joining the festivities here in Norman? The city and police department recommends those going trick-or-treating to do so between 6 and 9 p.m. For more information on the spooky night, head over to their website at the City of Norman.
Well, I mean, if trick-or-treat was this week, they might have to leave the jackets inside,
That's right? Yeah, or maybe grab the rain jackets. I think that might be the scariest thing of all if it was going to be a rainy Halloween. But here we see temperatures in those 80s with a pretty decent rain chance headed into the weekend. We'll make sure you watch OU Nightly the rest of the week to see how the rest of it pans out.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Julia Roberts.
And I'm Carla McCreary. Be sure to tune into OU Nightly live weekdays at 4:30. Good night.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use